In the remote high desert of Nevada, where spectacular cliffs plunge 1,000 feet from a rugged plateau, two handymen live. Valentine McKee and Earl Bassett called the tiny town of Perfection home. One day, as Val scans the dusty stretch of desert ahead, something catches his eye: a small pickup truck. Without a second thought, he jerks the steering wheel, sending their own truck swerving off the road. When the dust finally settles, they meet Rhonda Lebec. She's a geology student stationed here to monitor seismographs. The handymen offer to help. They leave the dusty roadside behind. They arrive at Walter's Market, the only store in Perfection. There they find Bert and Heather, settled into tranquil isolation but deep under Perfection. Something is waiting to disturb their peace. Out in the desert, Rhonda is setting up the sensors. The seismograph shows underground activity. Something moves beneath the surface. Unaware of the approaching danger, she drives off to the next location. Right from the beginning, it's obvious that neither man is content with his tedious existence and both crave something more thrilling. They plan to leave Perfection and try their luck in the wider world. In the distance, Val notices a man perched high up on an electrical tower. He climbs the tower, only to find Edger lying lifeless. They bring the body to Jim, Perfection's only doctor. He declares dehydration the cause of death. Cross town, Fred, a local farmer, observes a peculiar disturbance among his sheep. Without warning, he's pulled knee-deep into the dirt. Rhonda sees the disturbance spike across the seismograph. While returning from Doctor's place, Val and Earl see Fred's pen and realize something's terribly wrong. They spot Fred's hat lying in the dirt. Val crouches down, lifts it, and staggers back in horror when he sees Fred's severed head beneath it. They rush back to alert the residents. Along the way, they spot Carmine and Howard fixing the road and warn them. Carmine continues hammering. Suddenly, the blade strikes something. Blood starts gushing out. The jackhammer jerks free like a harpoon snagged in a whale, dragging Carmine tangled in its hose. His desperate cries echo as Howard races after him, chasing the struggling man being dragged up the hill. Walter's phone is dead, so they're forced to drive out for help. They found the road completely blocked by a landslide. Earl spots Howard's blood-stained hard hat lying at the edge of the landslide, and they scramble back into the truck. As he backs into the hillside, the truck is struck. Val slams the truck into four-wheel drive and revs it, and suddenly the truck lurches free. At Walter's, everyone rush out to meet Val and Earl as they drive up. Outside, they see something hanging from the rear axle and dragging in the dirt. Examining it closer, they wonder if it's a snake. In the vast desert night, Jim and Megan are enjoying talking under clear star-filled sky. Just then, the floodlight begins to flicker, as if something's gone wrong with the generator. Jim heads over and halts in shock. The generator is gone. The cable looks like it's been dragged underground. A few feet from where they stand, the generator shoots up from the dirt. Megan grabs Jim and hustles him toward the car. Suddenly, he drops knee-deep into the ground. Megan slides a log over, but the wood cracks and breaks. Megan claws frantically at the choking dirt. A savage hook tentacle bursts through the earth. She scrambles backward and jumps into the car. She finds the car keys are missing. The car lurches and quakes, dust swirling in a cloud around the windows, and the car starts to sink into the ground. Back at Walter's, Mindy and Melvin pose for pictures with the tentacle, while the others look to Val and Earl to fetch help from the nearby town. Val and Earl exchange tense and nervous glances before mounting their horses and riding through the vast valley in pursuit of help. They reach Jim and Megan's place and hear a muffled radio. The ground is torn up like the sheep pen. The music's coming from below. Val digs and finds the station wagon's headlights still shining. They share a look of dread and gallop away. In the open valley, the horses freeze, then rear and wheel in panic. Earl and Val can't hold on. They're thrown to the ground. Earl's horse is dragged down, coiled in the grip of several snake-like creatures. Val raises his rifle and fires a clean shot. The ground beneath them suddenly swells. A massive 30-foot worm-like creature bursts up, its gaping, flower-like mouth lined with writhing tentacles. Val fires a shot. Desperate, the two men flee toward a concrete drainage ditch. The creature burrows underground, pushing through the earth like a whale through water, smashing fence posts from below. Val and Earl try to jump across, but fall short. They watch as the monster slams into the concrete. The creature seems to be trapped and dead. They spin around and spot Rhonda at the top edge of the ditch. She instantly notices the crack in the wall. They wedge a wooden log into the crack and pry the concrete free, uncovering the creature's terrifying head. Val had been busy with Rhonda's shovel, digging to uncover the creature's tail end, having a lot of retractable spikes on its body. Rhonda suddenly jumps to pull the seismograph printouts from her backpack. The timing and locations of various seismic events across the valley suggests there are 3 more of these things. Suddenly, the seismograph detects massive underground movement. They run toward a nearby boulder. Val asks Rhonda about her truck. She points through the boulders. It's about 100 yards away. The unseen creature began to disturb the earth at the base of their rocky refuge. Val reaches down and scrapes the ground with a piece of wood. Almost instantly, the creature bursts up, grabbing the stick. Val realizes that creature is listening to them. Rhonda nods, impressed. It can sense every tiny vibration through the rock. As night fell, stars blazing overhead in the clear air. In the morning, Val wakes up to find Rhonda sleeping nearby, wrapped in his jacket. She wakes up, sees Val's kind gesture, and thanks him. They toss a piece of wood to check for the creature. It is still there, waiting for them. Rhonda gets an idea. She goes over and pulls a long cross rail from a broken fence. Rhonda appears and asks if they can pole vault. The men watch, surprised, as she plants the pole and vaults to a boulder 15 feet away. Earl immediately grasped the brilliance of the idea and rushed to grab more fence rails. Earl stuffs a fence rail into Val's hands. Val vaults across to join Rhonda on her boulder, and their escape across the boulder field began in earnest. They reach the last boulder. Rhonda grips her keys in her teeth. They vault and land in the truck bed. Rhonda slides open the rear window and crawls through head first. Creature follows. Val slaps a tentacle back down. Rhonda starts the truck and punches the accelerator with her fist. As the vehicle roars away, Val and Earl realize Rhonda is driving blind, upside down. At Walters, townspeople gather nervously. A scream interrupted them. Melvin's basketball hit Earl's chest through the window, thrown in as a prank. Val points to spots on a topographic map, indicating the creatures are heading towards them. Outside, the steady rhythm of Melvin's bouncing basketball suddenly ceased in swirling dust. Everyone goes outside to find Melvin halfway up a telephone pole, clinging to it in terror. A creature bursts through the ground with jaws wide open. Panic consumes everyone as they frantically scatter and run in all directions for safety. The creatures have finally come to town. Their worst nightmare has become reality. Outside, Mindy bounces on her pogo stick. The noise draws the creature underground toward her. Val sprints toward Mindy as the creature closes in. He grabs her and they tumble off the road. The pogo stick gets sucked underground and pops up behind them seconds later. They scatter in different directions. Val climbs onto his pickup truck as the creature rams it. Earl and Rhonda, standing midway, spot another creature moving toward them. Rhonda runs toward the shed where Melvin is hiding. She falls down and the ground bulges beneath her. She rolls away, getting tangled in barbed wire. The hooked tentacles shoot forward to get hold of the trapped prey. Another gulp drags her closer to the beast's mouth. The tentacles keep dragging her closer to the jaws. Val grabs a pickaxe from the truck and leaps toward the creature. He strikes it hard on the head. The beast whips its head, throwing Val away. A tentacle grabbed the pickaxe and tried to remove it from the head of the beast. Val rushes towards Rhonda to free her. He takes away her shoes and asks her to get rid of her tangled pants. The creature lunges forward. Its tentacles hold only torn jeans. As Val pulls Rhonda back, another creature bursts from the ground behind them. Val and Rhonda rush toward the store. The creature follows, making the boards ripple like ocean waves behind them. They quickly dive into the store just as the underground creature misses them by mere feet. Inside the store, Val gently dabs antiseptic onto the cuts on Rhonda's legs. Miguel brings her a new pair of shoes and jeans. Their attention turns to sudden noise from the freezer. They rush to unplug it. Earl and Walter help to move the freezer, making space for Val to pull the plug. As they think the danger is over, the creature bursts through the store's wooden floor. Its tentacles grab Walter and start to pull him toward its jagged mouth. Screaming, Walter is pulled underground. Before anyone could react, the creature burst out behind the bar. Rhonda scrambled up a shelf. Val spots a ceiling hatch and directs everyone toward the roof. The floor explodes again. Rhonda starts hopping across the shelves. The tentacles tip over the first one. The shelves fall like dominoes and half catapult her through the window. Petrified, Val climbs up the roof hatch. He sighs with relief when he sees Rhonda safe and climbing up the water tower. Their attention is diverted to the Melvin's shed. A creature slams into it hard. Terrified, Melvin quickly climbs onto the roof. Bert and Heather reach their house, surrounded by a bare yard and chain-link fence. Heather looks at perfection through binoculars and is stunned. Rhonda on the water tower, Val, Earl, and Miguel on the store roof, and Nancy and Mindy on theirs. Bert calls them on the CB radio. The creatures react to the noise. Val hangs upside down, grabs the radio, and gets pulled straight up. Bert asks why everyone is on their roofs. Nearby, Heather pours shells into a humming cleaner. At Walters, the tentacles vanish underground. The creature heads straight for Bert and Heather. Val shouts urgently, telling Bert the killers are underground. Bert looks confused while Heather scans outside for danger. Then they hear a low rumble that grows louder. Suddenly, a huge creature bursts through the wall. Deafening gunfire erupts instantly. They aim sharp, targeted headshots and keep firing, but the creature lunges forward. A hooked tentacle snags Bert's leg and yanks him off his feet. Heather fires 3 devastating shots, tearing the tentacle in half. The creature became furious and bangs its head in the roof to strike back down with more power. They back down the wall, desperately grabbing weapons one after another. Bert smashes open a glass case, grabs a huge 4-gauge elephant gun, and loads 2 giant cartridges. The massive bullets rip huge holes in the creature. The beast convulses, then collapses, deflating like a beached whale. Rhonda interrupts from the water tower, pointing urgently. A creature moves its tentacles along the building's foundation in a strange, deliberate way. They watch nervously as the tentacles crawl along the wall toward a corner. Rhonda observes that the creature has moved under the Nancy's house, analyzing it and causing disturbance. The creature starts moving away, slithering underground toward the Nestor's trailer, pushing beneath it with great force and toppling it over onto its side. He falls to the ground and quickly climbs onto a tractor tire lying flat. The creature pulls him through the center, leaving his scream echoing in the silence. Everyone feels helpless and trapped. At Bert and Heather's house, a hump of dirt rises near the foundation. Bert fires a shot, and the mound shifts away. The creature slides under Bert and Heather's truck, shaking it violently and rendering it useless. Val, Earl, and Miguel listening in disbelief as the distant truck alarm sputters and dies. Earl suddenly gets an idea about using the cat bulldozer. Creatures can't stop it. They could drag the semi-trailer behind it. Val says they need a decoy to distract the creatures. Miguel spots a garden tractor nearby. Val and Earl lower Miguel down to the tractor. He ties the steering wheel with his kerchief to lock it. Earl raises his fist for rock, paper, scissors to decide who runs for the bulldozer. Miguel slams it into gear and sends it rolling. Val loses. He curses, saying he'll do it, but Earl refuses. He won, so he chooses. He gets ready to leap. The creatures start to follow. In that moment, Val elbows Earl hard in the stomach and leaps off the roof. He takes off, sprinting full speed for the bulldozer. Meanwhile, the garden tractor bounces along before toppling over. The creatures chasing the tractor shift their attention to Val. Rhonda yells desperately for Val to stop. Val heard her warning and stopped dead in his tracks. The creatures burst their heads out near him. Their blind hooked tentacles start feeling and sweeping through the dirt for any sign of movement. Earl realizes and suggests that they have to make some noise. At the tower, Rhonda spots the old pipe. She braces and kicks hard. The rusty joint bursts, sending a torrent of water roaring into the dirt. The creatures retract underground, only to appear near the water tower a few moments later. Val reaches the bulldozer. He climbs into the seat, fires it up, and works the levers. The engine roars as he wrenches the old trailer free from dried mud. Tentacles slither out of the puddle, trying to grab Rhonda. They wrap around the ladder and drag it away. The bulldozer rumbles toward the water tower. As it nears, Rhonda leaps onto the raised blade and climbs down to join Val. Almost immediately, the tentacles reach for the crawler tracks. Val slams it forward. The tracks churn, shaking the tentacles loose. Val and Rhonda whoop as the bulldozer breaks free. At Bert and Heather's, Bert cuts pieces off a vertical pipe. He fills them with gunpowder and drills a fuse in each to create bombs. They hear rumbling and see the bulldozer approaching. Bert grins, impressed by their armored transport. Val climbs onto the cab roof to get to the same level and urges them to hurry. Bert hefts the finished bomb in the sack and tosses it to Val. Heather grabs a rifle and jumps into the trailer, and Bert follows. Earl drives the strange-looking contraption into the desert, their vehicle resolutely grinding along near the cliffs. The sun casts dramatic shadows across the beautiful valley, heading for the mountains ahead. They spot a billowing cloud of dirt rising from the ground. Suddenly, the earth caves in. The bulldozer plunges into an unseen pit dug just beneath the surface. Val realizes the creatures dug the trap. Val and Earl grab guns, firing wildly and hopelessly into the dirt as dust spurts up. From his knapsack, Bert pulls out a pipe bomb. He leaps between Val and Earl, lights the fuse, and shouts, "Hungry? Eat this," then throws the bomb at the churning earth. Dust spurts mark their frantic paths as they fan out from the semi-trailer. Rhonda spots the creatures in the distance. Heather fires 2 deafening shots as they start closing in again. Val scans the area and spots a big rock outcrop nearby and urges the others to head for it. Bert lights the fuse of another bomb and throws it to distract the creatures. The bomb explodes, sending up a cloud of dust and rocks. The creatures scatter away. Everyone rushes out of the semi-trailer like troops from a trench. Dust erupts nearby as the ground heaves. Everyone sprints at full speed, making it to the rocks mere seconds before the monsters catch up. The tentacles burst up on all sides of the rock, The creatures shift and move around, probing and feeling, searching for any sign of movement. Everyone stares as the creatures move, frozen in despair. Val concludes they're stuck. No pole vaulting this time. Then Earl gets an idea. They'll go fishing. Bert hands Earl a bomb tied to a long rope. Val and Rhonda throw rocks on the ground to check the creature's location. The ground bulges in one spot. Val lights the fuse and backs away to safety with Rhonda. Earl swings the bomb on its rope like a lasso and hurls it as far as he can. Then he reels it back along the ground, like a fishing lure. A snout slips up and swallows the bomb. Seconds later, a fiery blast sends a spray of gore and creature parts into the air. Everyone cheers, filled with overwhelming relief. To re-execute the plan, Val and Rhonda start throwing rocks again to pinpoint the last creature's location. After a few throws, tentacles emerge at one spot. This time, Val holds the rope and bomb and hands the lighter to Rhonda. With trembling hands, she lights the fuse. Val hurls the bomb far into the desert and drags it along the ground like bait. The creature takes the bait and swallows the bomb. Everyone dives behind the big boulder for cover, and Val gets hold of another bomb. Suddenly, the creature spits the bomb out. It flies over their heads, hits the rocks, and falls into the bag of explosives. The group scatters in panic. An explosion blasts rocks everywhere. When the dust settles, Rhonda, Earl, and Val lie stunned in the dirt. They get up and start running towards the boulder. But the monster erupts from the ground, blocking their path. Others, safe on the outcrop, start making noise. The creature gets distracted by the loud commotion and begins retracting underground. But this time, it doesn't move toward it right away. Earl starts to move forward, but Val stops him, saying it's trying to trick us. Earl desperately urges Val to use the bomb. Val starts to run frantically. The creature suddenly bursts out of the ground. Val says he's got a plan. Left with no other option, Rhonda starts sprinting with them. The creature slams underground and starts tunneling toward them. They approach the cliff's edge and skid to a halt at the very brink. They turn around to see the underground creature approaching fast toward them. Val breaks off most of the bomb's fuse, then hurls the bomb as far as he can. The bomb explodes behind the creature and it shrieks in agony and speeds up. Rhonda and Earl start running, but Val stands frozen so the creature doesn't get distracted. At the last second, he jumps out of the way, right out through the face of the cliffs. The huge, shrieking creature seems to hang in midair for a moment. Then it crashes down onto the jagged rocks below, exploding like a balloon. Earl and Rhonda join him, seeing the monster lying dead on the rocks below. Both look at Val, amazed and impressed by his plan to drive the creature off the cliff. Others on the outcrop erupt in relieved celebration. Later, back in town, Rhonda approaches Val and Earl to take their picture with an expensive camera. She approaches Val and says excitedly there's going to be major research and she's in on it. Val shakes his head silently. She thanks Val for everything he did, including saving her life. Val responds awkwardly that she is welcome. Getting a very dry response, she walks away. Earl feels disappointed in Val's reaction. Val says he knows and is working on it. Then he quickly catches up to Rhonda, looks at her warmly, and pulls her close for a gentle kiss. If you liked the video, please share, subscribe, and tap the bell for more. Thanks for watching.